it back to you piece by piece. There was a second page. A list. Dates. Amounts. Copies of canceled checks. All the money I'd given them. Documented. Signed promissory notes I didn't even know existed. At the bottom, in her careful script, I'm giving the house to you. The one on Maple Ridge. The one with the big porch and the oak tree your grandfather planted. I'm putting money in trust for Lila and Theo. College, trade school, whatever they dream. Untouchable. And the loans? They're due now. To the estate. To you. I read it 3 times. My hand shook so badly the paper rattled. Lila appeared in the doorway, barefoot, hugging her stuffed giraffe. Dad, are you crying? I pulled her into my lap.
No, primelit.
Then, yes, but good crying. She read part of the letter over my shoulder, whispered, Grandma Evelyn really loved us. Yeah, baby, she really did. That night, I opened my banking app. The recurring transfers stared back at me. Every Friday, like clockwork, money flowing out to people who'd just erased my kids in a church. I canceled every single one.
Click, click, click.
Screenshot each confirmation. Closed the laptop. Felt my lungs expand for the first time in years. 3 days later, the will reading. My parents showed up in designer black, like they were attending a gala. My sister Mara wore heels that clicked like accusations. I came alone. No way I was bringing the kids into that room. The attorney, Richard Lang, was calm as winter. He started with the formalities. Then, Evelyn Caldwell leaves her primary residence at 42 Maple Ridge Drive, along with all contents to her grandson, Evan Caldwell.
Sole ownership.
Immediate transfer upon probate. My mother made this strangled sound. My father's face went stone still. Then, a trust in the amount of $180,000 to be divided equally between Lila Caldwell and Theodore Caldwell for education or life start, irrevocable, with Evan Caldwell as trustee. My sister leaned forward, eyes hungry.
Mom jumped in, soft and placating. You're contributing to the household, sweetheart. It's not the same thing. Harper nodded. Exactly. And the baby is coming in 4 months. We need to start soon. 4 months. Then newborn phase. Then toddler phase. Translation, forever. I stood up slowly. My knees popped from hauling hose lines all night. So I'm just evicted. Dad sipped his coffee. Don't be dramatic. That was the moment the crack widened into a chasm. I didn't yell. I didn't beg. I walked to the hall closet, pulled out the old army duffel I'd kept since the academy, and started packing. Jeans. Hoodies. The one photo of me and my crew after probation. Everything I owned fit in 45 minutes. Harper laughed nervously. Ethan, come on. We're just talking. Mom's voice climbed. You're being ridiculous. We were going to offer the basement. The basement. Where the pipes sweat and the floor floods every spring. I zipped the bag. No need. Dad set his mug down. Where do you think you're going? Away, I said. Tonight. The air went thick. Harper's face twisted, half shock, half fury that I wasn't folding like always. You'll regret this, she hissed. When you need us. I already needed you, I cut in. You were busy choosing paint. I walked out without slamming the door. The night was cold, sharp, honest. I slept on my buddy Caleb's couch. He didn't ask questions, just tossed me a blanket and said, "You good?" That was more concern than I'd felt at home in years. Next morning my phone buzzed with an unknown number. This is Derek from Apex Home Design. I'm at your address with the crew. Just need to confirm payment. The contract's in your name, Ethan Walsh, and the deposit didn't go through. My heart dropped straight through the floor. Repeat that. 34,000 total. 8.5 deposit bounced. We've got materials unloaded. Who's covering the initial? I was already pulling on shoes. Do not start work. I'm coming. The drive took 15 minutes. My hands shook so hard I gripped the wheel until my knuckles went white. I pulled up to see a truck, 2 workers smoking by the curb, and Derek on the porch talking to my mom like they were old friends. I walked straight up. "Show me the contract." Derek hesitated, then handed over the tablet. There it was, my name, my email, my phone number, my signature. A perfect looping I'd practiced since middle school. Except I'd never seen this document in my life. Mom's smile faltered. "Ethan, honey, let's talk inside." "No," I turned to Derek, loud enough for the neighbors to hear if they wanted. "I did not sign this. I did not authorize this renovation. My name and information were used without my consent." Derek's face went professional neutral. "Sir, the contract came from your email. Signature matches the ID you provided when we quoted." I pulled up my banking app. There it was, attempted charge, $8,500, flagged and declined. My bank had saved me by accident. Mom reached for my arm. "It's not what you think." "It's exactly what I think," I said. "You forged my signature. You tried to drain my account for a nursery you decided I should pay for." Harper appeared in the doorway, arms crossed over her belly like armor. "You're blowing this out of proportion. It's for the baby." I looked at her, at all of them, and felt something inside me go still. "You didn't ask," I said quietly. "You didn't even consider asking. You just assumed my money, my credit, my life belonged to you because we share blood." Dad finally stepped forward, voice low and dangerous. "You owe us. We raised you." I met his eyes. "I paid you back. Every month. With interest." Then I did the thing I should have done years ago. I opened the banking app in front of them and canceled the automatic transfer labeled Home Contribution. Confirmation popped up like freedom. Harper gasped. "You can't." "I just did." Mom's voice cracked. "Ethan, please. We have plans. We counted on. You counted on me never saying no." Derek cleared his throat. "I'm packing up. This sounds like fraud. You'll need to sort it with the police." He and his crew loaded the truck in silence while my family stood frozen on the porch. I looked at them one last time. Mom's eyes wet. Dad's jaw clenched. Harper's hand protectively over her stomach like I was the threat. "You want to know what selfish looks like?" I said. "It looks like deciding your brother's savings are your birthright." I got in my car and drove away. That week I froze every account they'd ever touched. Changed every password. Filed a fraud report. Moved into a tiny one-bedroom near the station that smelled faintly of someone else's curry but was mine. The messages came in waves. Guilt trips. Rage. Crying emojis. One from Mom that almost broke me. "Do you want your nephew to grow up knowing his uncle chose money over family?" I stared at it for a long time. Then I typed back once, in the group chat, and never again. "You chose money over family. You just thought it should be mine." Silence ever since. Sometimes, on quiet nights after a call, I sit in my new place, bare walls, second-hand couch, no paint swatches in sight, and I feel the weight lift a little more. I saved lives for a living, but the hardest rescue was pulling myself out of that house. If you've ever stayed somewhere out of guilt, if you've ever let family become a transaction you didn't agree to, tell me in the comments. Would you have walked away? Or would you have paid for the nursery just to keep the peace? I need to know I'm not the only one who finally chose themselves. Thanks for watching. Do subscribe for more stories.